Hello and welcome. I am Gimba Umar. Tonight, Nigerian Bar Association demands justice for the victims of herdsmen attacks in Benue communities as it embarks on fact-finding mission to the troubled state. Governor Fayose moves to douse tension in Ekiti State following an attack by suspected herdsmen on a community in the state. People's Democratic Party resolves post-convention dispute with splinter group, says that party now united for the 2019 election contest. And it's blame game as the US Senate fails to pass a new budget and prevent the shutdown of government.
On business news tonight, Fitch Ratings affirms Lagos State's long-term foreign issuer default currency rating at B+ with negative outlook.
And on sports news tonight, South Korea and North Korea agree a breakthrough deal to compete under a unified Korean flag at next month's Winter Olympics.
We'll begin tonight with the call by members of the Nigerian Bar Association, the NBA, on the federal government to ensure the administration of justice for victims of herdsmen attacks in Benue State. President of the NBA, Mr. Abubakar Mahmood, explains that this will help restore their confidence in the present government. He was speaking during an investigative session with Governor Samuel Ortom in Makurdi, the Benue State capital.
Governor Samuel Ortom joins the delegation of the Nigerian Bar Association, led by its president, Mr. Abubakar Mahmood. The legal body is in the state on a fact-finding mission on the cause of the attack by herdsmen as they call for justice from the federal government.
We want to understand what is really going on and why is this happening. So this is part of the mission that we have in Benue this very day. And so, Your Excellency, once more, I'd like to pass our sympathies and condolences. As I said, we condemn this act of violence in totality. We demand that governments do everything possible to make sure that the perpetrators are brought to justice and that this cycle of violence completely stops.
Governor Ortom explains the origin of the open grazing prohibition law to the visiting team and the territorial occupation agenda of the herdsmen.
At a point by 2016, 13 local governments were under siege by these herdsmen. They raise the towns down and take over and allow their cattle to feed over farm produce. We attempted peace meetings. We had several of them and told the people why they must live in peace.
A group of Benue stakeholders also at the meeting called on the international community to intervene and stop the killings, which they say has claimed more than 1,800 lives in 6 years.
We want the world to know our plight, and if they intervene in time, our people may be served. If no intervention comes, we will have no choice but to resort to self-defense, since we can no longer tolerate ethnic cleansing of our people through incessant attacks and their slaughter in their sleep on their ancestral lands.
The killings actually predate.
Here at the NBA town hall meeting, participants want members of the bar to impress it upon the Nigerian government to end the over 49 attacks by herdsmen since 2013. It is expected that this town hall meeting will afford the legal body an opportunity to unravel the cause of the violence and also allow them to suggest ways of avoiding a recurrence.
And these are Benue Indigenes residents in the southeast, also demanding justice for the victims of herdsmen attacks. They want the president to declare the militia herdsmen as terrorists. The Indigenes who staged a rally in Enugu are also calling for the arrest of the herders' leaders and the federal government's full backing on the anti-open grazing law.
is enough. Yes. For the killings of our mothers, our children, our husbands. Enough is enough. The federal government should do something about it. Yes. The federal government should stand up and do something about it. We are tired. We cannot watch our children continue to die. The point is that the anti-open grazing law is the correct law. It is enacted to save our land, and we are going to support it in all full force. We are now calling on the federal government, especially the president. We say he's the commander-in-chief of armed forces of all the federation. He has a right to protect every life in Benue.
Meanwhile, more condemnations continue to pour in over the killing by herdsmen in Benue State and other parts of the country. This time, the River State Governor Nyesom Wike says that he is concerned about the kind of response given to the security situation in Benue State, and he says that if nothing is done, there may be more trouble for the country. But the governors of Kogi and Nasarawa states have different views to this, though. They are calling for peace and have indicated their readiness to support the people of Benue State to fight the security challenge to a logical conclusion.
The unending controversy over the killings in Benue State is getting hotter, with many prominent Nigerians condemning the act and others coming up with different ideas on how best to handle the situation. River State Governor Nyesom Wike is not happy about how the case is being handled and wants a different approach.
It has nothing to do with politics or party. Let us not trivialize it to say it's party. No. There's calamity that are befalling this country, whether we like it or not. There was a time they threatened that they would declare a state of emergency in this state. Even the APC in their meeting suggested that they should declare a state of emergency. Those things they were trying to use to declare a state of emergency, they fell on their own states.
Everything that we are going to say.
But some other persons are already mending fences and working out strategies to wipe off the political bickering caused by the attacks. Nasarawa State Governor Tanko Al-Makura says he is committed to helping people from the neighboring Benue State overcome the security challenges. He also denied having disagreements with Governor Samuel Ortom.
We will continue to work together with Benue State to ensure the safety of our people. So anybody with any mistaken impression that there is any crisis between Nasarawa State and Benue State or between Dr. Samuel Ortom and Tanko Al-Makura should perish that thought.
The attacks may have also sparked outrage and protests, but one thing on the lips of many is for peace to return to the troubled states. Kogi State Governor Yahya Bello is asking everyone concerned and others who feel disappointed about the security challenges in the country to be patient, insisting that Nigeria must not be allowed to disintegrate because of these issues.
We should continue to imbibe the spirits of brotherhood, unity, peace and tolerance. We must tolerate ourselves. We must be ready to abide by the rules and regulations.
With the calls and admonition for peace, one thing that is paramount to those concerned is for justice to be served on the unknown killers who are threatening the unity and peace of the country.
The Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Tukuru Buratai, believes that government's efforts at achieving national security, including the fight against insurgency in the northeast, would be meaningless without food security. General Tukuru Buratai explains that the army is investing in livestock, fisheries, poultry and other aspects of agriculture, with about 1,000 herds of cattle in its ranches spread across the country. The Army Chief made a disclosure during the presentation of farm implements and items by the Minister of Agriculture and Rural Development, Chief Audu Ogbe, to the Nigerian Army in Abuja.
As the nation grapples with the headless farmers' crisis, the Nigerian Army seems poised to play a strategic role, as it is going beyond carrying arms to ensure security to supporting the nation's effort towards reviving agriculture. At the Nigerian Army farms and ranches located in Gri on the outskirts of the nation's capital, The Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Tukur Baratai, is accompanied by the Minister of Agriculture and Rural Development, Chief Audu Ogbe, on an inspection tour of the facility. For Lieutenant General Baratai, the project is the Army's contribution to the nation's food security.
This is a program that was initiated just about 1.5 years ago. And I tell you, as of today, we have almost 1,000 heads of cattle within the Nigerian Army barracks and formations. Actually, it started with the ranches, and then we went into other areas like poultry, fisheries, and even vegetable growing, and the rest. And you will agree with me, once we have food security, all other forms of insecurity, including the insurgency in the northeast, militancy, kidnapping, and a host of other criminal activities, will be drastically reduced. I believe agriculture will greatly reduce the high rate of unemployment among our teeming youth.
The ranch, which is part of the Barracks Investment Initiative program of the Army, is stocked with over 30 tons of feed concentrates, machines for making feeds, and grass seeds for producing pasture. The Ministry of Agriculture showed their support for the initiative by presenting some agriculture machineries to the Army.
For nearly 40 years, we forgot the farms. We spent $5 million a day importing rice, $18 million a year importing toothpicks, $100 million a year importing honey, $400 million a year importing tomato paste. I can go on and on. And we kept asking, what is wrong with us? What do we do when we wake up from sleep? Why is there no production of anything in our country? And thank God we got broke in 2015. And then it dawned on us that we can't keep waiting for shiploads to deliver sugar, cookies and biscuits, ice cream powder, milk. I can go on and on forever. Here we are, looking at cattle. And let the message go forth from here. I appeal to you in the media. When we say we want to do the same everywhere in the country, it's not a fairy tale. It is doable. At least the Army has proved it. To the glory of God and the development of our country, we offer this to you. Thank you.
Sitting on a vast land which could accommodate several thousands of cows, the ranch has 2 breeds of about 300 cows, and the Army is planning to replicate this at all its formations across the country.
In part 2, after the break, 4 expatriates and a driver abducted by gunmen in Kaduna on Tuesday regain their freedom. Join us again.